this is Purge bringing you guys another gameplay commentary. I'm going to be doing a gameplay commentary of a Nightstalker. I know that you guys have been waiting for this here for quite a long time. Unfortunately, I just hadn't played him, but I did actually play him the other day. I don't remember how I picked this. Oh, it's random draft. I believe I picked Nightstalker, and I called the mid. I was playing this game with Blitz as well as EGM. EGM, of course, from No Tidehunter. Very, very good pro player. And the other two people, I don't think I knew who they were. So, just drafting our heroes here. Once we get in, we can talk a little bit about Nightstalker. I need to... No, it's okay. Apparently those pop-ups don't happen anymore if I'm doing a game capture, like the Steam pop-ups, so I guess it doesn't really matter if those happen now. A couple things about Nightstalker. He is a very strong mid-hero. He's a good mid-hero. He's not the best at killing mid, though, so you have to be kind of careful. He generally gets outlaned by a couple heroes, so generally you have to play pretty safe. I think I was up against a Warlock mid this game. You generally play him to get enough levels, and then from there you end up going to gank other side lanes and trying to put a lot of pressure on the enemy during the first nighttime. That's very, very important, especially as you guys can see they have a Phantom Lancer, so it's very important to put pressure on the Phantom Lancer to try to make sure that our anti-mage farm is better than him. So, yeah, we are just about into the game. I don't know if I have any other updates, channel updates, or anything worth talking about. Again, I have a P.O. box if you guys missed that video. I really need to put that on my YouTube channel base. I think I'll do that. I'm gonna throw it on my YouTube channel after this video, on the right side bar, so you guys have that information if you want to send me something. But yeah, that's probably the most I'll ever talk about the P.O. box unless somebody asks about it. Come on, load in the game. I just want to play. I mean, I want to watch myself play. I'm doing a replay commentary, by the way, in case you guys didn't notice. Alright, so a couple things about Nightstalker. His best ability is Void, his first skill. It has very, very low cooldown and very high damage. 335 for an 8-second cooldown is fantastic. It also does really good slow, 50% movement, 35% attack. It lasts for 4 seconds during night. So all around, really great ability. Low mana cost, 110. This is pretty much his bread and butter, where he gets most of his damage from in the early game. Mid to late game, you're going to have to make up for it by getting damage items. As we'll commonly see in Chinese Dota, usually we see Nightstalkers pick up armlets, and very often as well a BKB. But armlet's more of a newer Nightstalker item. It wasn't as popular in the past, so I think we are in regular speed here. Okay, so 3 Ironwood branches as well as 1 Tango. If I'm expecting to be against a Warlock, I'm actually probably going to have a little bit of a rough time in the mid lane because Warlock has a range advantage. The downside is that Warlock has less armor than me, I believe, so trading hits is pretty effective. Nightstalker has 5 armor base, which is pretty good. The downside is that you can't always rely on your right clicks to get last hits, so make sure that you use your mana very efficiently to grab last hits. Keep in mind, it does 90 damage, which is more than a last hit, and keep in mind also creeps don't have magic resistance, so that means your Void does guaranteed 90 damage to a creep, which means that you should be able to get last hits every time you cast that spell. And if we look at my mana, 80, 160, 240, that gives me 3 Voids before I'm completely out of mana, so I should have 3 guaranteed last hits before I get a bottle. Guaranteed. So that should put me at 400, 450, 500 gold, about there. So that means I need to get 2 last hits with my right clicks and 3 last hits using Void at least to be able to get a bottle. So I should be able to do that before I run out of a Tango, even against mids that are very good against Nightstalker, like Queen of Pain or Panda or something like that. Nightstalker still does have options. So on the bright side, Warlock doesn't have any nasty AoEs that's going to push the lane or, for example, take a last hit while harassing me. So I should be able to get the last hits without taking too much damage, basically. Creep blockade, of course, is very important once again. If the creep wave is on your side of the river, then it's harder for the Warlock to harass you. That is not Blitz, by the way, on the Bounty Hunter. That's somebody else. One nice thing about Nightstalker is his base damage is actually quite high. I was standing a little bit too far away from the creeps there when I went for that last hit, so that messed things up a little bit. But at the moment, 1 deny for me and 1 deny for him. I don't really need to be standing there necessarily because I made sure to avoid that because I wasn't going to get the last hit otherwise. I was really surprised I got that creep, but if they're going to deny you for sure, it's oftentimes worth it to use that one as your Void target. Now, I did a couple things like not skilling up my points very often, and I'll talk about that in a second, but basically most of Nightstalker's other abilities other than Void aren't actually needed in the early game. You don't actually really need to use them because of the fact that the silence is not going to be really that useful against Warlock, because preventing him, it's daytime, for example. It only lasts for, I think, yeah, 3 seconds during day, and it gives him a mischance, and he can't cast. He's silenced, I think. Yeah, he'll be silenced for 3 seconds. And that's not really that great in the early game against a Warlock. I could also pick up another level of Mana Void right here, but I read this on a Reddit thing that seemed pretty smart. But basically the idea is that you don't really need to max up Void if you're just last hitting with it, and it actually costs you more mana to do that, but it goes up by scales of 10. So rather than picking up more levels of Void right now, like I could do at level 3, I'm just leaving my skill points sitting there. I could also pick up Hunter of the Night, I could also pick up Crippling Fear, but Hunter of the Night does nothing during daytime at all. So essentially, it's not really worth leveling up unless you're going to harass a hero with it. Yeah, unless you're going to harass a hero with it. There's another last hit that I didn't feel safe about getting, and the Warlock isn't moving, so I figured I was going to get that last hit for sure. 9 last hits at 2 minutes, that's pretty good. Doesn't look like I have Ward Vision, so I'm going to go look for a rune. And I do actually find a regen, so I get pretty lucky here. It's okay to sacrifice some last hits in this period of time, because if you think about it, I just got 2 bottle charges and a full regen, plus 3 more bottle charges. So I got to use 2 bottle charges, and then I got a regen rune. It's just, that's going to give me so much void spamming power, and that means I'm going to be much better off getting last hits. I did pick up a Hunter in the Night level, just because I know that I usually like having 2 levels of those at my first nighttime. I actually don't like... I should have gotten that first last hit. The second one was not easy, though. I don't really like having 2 Hunter in the Night. Or I don't really personally use Crippling Fear that much myself. I don't think it's really that amazing. He did Fatal Bonds me here, but I just did some Void Harass and put 2 attacks in as well. Could have probably gotten a last hit out of that, but at this point I'm kind of outlasting him by quite a bit. But I see the Wisp come up, so... At this point I was a little worried. I wasn't too scared about taking the spirits at this point because I already have a regen. If anything, I kind of wanted to get rid of them just because I don't want them to deal damage to me anymore. I was going to pop the regen anyways, so I was like, okay, well, I'll take that damage. Oftentimes I'll pop the regen as I'm about to cast, but I just really didn't really want to chance it there. And again, I kind of want to just keep nuking the Wisp down. He does have, 6 tangos, but if he's only at half HP, then he's going to be less willing to harass me and things like that. So if I do see him going aggressive like that, I will do the damage to him. That's EGM's Golden Roshan Courier, by the way. He was one of the few that was in the pack of getting those early on. So from here, continuing to last hit again, he has used Fatal Bonds on me once again. I'm going to snag some last hits whenever I can. And a little bit of bottle on the high ground. Oop, I'm getting ganked again. This time by another guy. I was able to get the kill on the Wisp because he took tower damage immediately. I should have turned around maybe a little bit faster here. I should have turned as soon as I started bottling under tower, I believe. Because this guy is actually quite fast. I think he has Tranquil Boots or something. I can't remember exactly. But I should have turned as soon as I started bottling, because even if he hit me 1 extra time, I probably wasn't going to die. And I had a second bottle charge. I think if I would have avoided him there, we could have gotten the kill. But only got 1 out of the gank, which is still pretty good considering that I got 3 men ganked. But I mean, a Wisp and a Visage is not really a good ganking combo, so I'm not really too surprised that went as it did. If I would have prepared a little bit better for that, I would have gotten the kill. Very important that I was checking for Rune here, but it was pretty futile. It's like a minute after, so I'm going to have to bottle crow a little bit and bring items to myself. So I think at this point I asked for a Flying Courier because I do need a bottle crow. I just hit level 6. It's very rare to hit level 6 before it's actually nighttime, but it's quite helpful. I did void that because my mana is pretty full anyways, so I was going to put bottle on the ground and then bring the salve to myself. I think I salve it. Yep. So just salve to get up to full HP. Most games that I play Nightstalker, I do actually go for a urn, but I think I decided against it this game. I think that was maybe a little bit of a mistake, and we can talk about that later. But urn is so fantastic on Nightstalker, just because every time you get a kill, you get 800 HP heal. That's like a full heal. You don't have to spend bottle charges on anything but a little bit of mana, basically. And that's much better to focus on.
Guess what's happening?
I should have been better in position for that one, but luckily he didn't go for the deny. He should have denied that one, though. So mana's getting a little bit low. I have the bottle coming back to me. I don't really want to waste too much mana harassing him necessarily. And it's now nighttime. And I actually don't see the rune once again because they still don't have wards up. So I'm going to pop your ulti whenever it becomes nighttime and you're playing Nightstalker, especially at the beginning of it. What it basically does, oh, it looks like he got the invis rune. This is why I was confused, actually. I was like, okay, it's not top. Did Warlock show at this point? He showed, and he didn't have a rune, so I was confused. And then I went bot, and it's not there. So no rune for me, unfortunately. And then I decided to go gank. There was a ward, by the way, if you guys saw that ward there. So the Dire team is reacting to this. You can see that. And I figured that out by them. They were in lane, and then they left the lane. Look at this, 4 heroes converging on me. So I come around here. There's a Wisp. I'll put a nuke on him, and I'm just going to run past. Slight mistake from them to not teleport on that. But I'm going to be okay. And on the bright side, what this covered is that they just spent a lot of time running towards me. That's like 2 heroes that aren't farming now because I did that. So not the end of the world for me. It's obviously much better to get the kill, but that's not always going to happen. They're very wise to converge on Nightstalker, though. It's very important that you do a vision of him at nighttime because he is a pretty much amazing ganking monster during the first nighttime. Again, it doesn't help that I don't have an urn, because if I do get a kill, it would help me continue to gank, but for now, obviously, it seemed like they had ward vision, so me getting a kill on those guys is just simply not going to happen. So I'll just play a little safe, continue getting some last hits. Thought he was going to deny that again, but he did not. Doing my best to slow the amount of farm that he gets as well. There was a possible TP. We were thinking about ganking the Warlock, and then we finally went for it. This guy was really hard to kill, I seem to remember. Alright, I told him to back after that. I didn't really want to dive that hard. As soon as he got his heal off, I mean, he seemed a lot more tanky than I thought he would be, to be honest. And this actually cost me a lot, because I lost a lot of HP, like 300 or 400 HP from that. It just hit 8 minutes. I was going to check for a rune, and I think we had a DC for a bit, so we can speed this up. There's a reconnect. Alright, so I just checked for a rune top. It is not there. And I'm sprinting towards the bot lane. The advantage of Nightstalker is he actually does have really good rune control because he's so fast. 431, and if you find anybody solo, you have a really good chance of killing them. So, level 7 at this point. I kind of wanted to gank the bot lane again. The ward is gone, as you guys can see. So I pop my haste, first bottle charge, and to find a Wisp. I figured he was going to do that, run over to that side, but I'm just kind of waiting for my cooldown to come off. And now if we have vision, bam, get the void. So that was track gold as well as EXP. Very, very good for us. Downside is if I had an urn, I would have gotten 800 HP heal, and I wouldn't have had to been out of HP. Like 600 HP right here is actually a little, it's kind of a small amount. I see the Warlock, and at this point I said, okay, I'm going to come back and gank the PL. Very important to do this because PL is quite weak in the early game. I kept asking him to track. I said, track him, track him, track him, track him, track him. Alright, and then he finally tracked him. So at this point I just got to avoid him a couple times and we should be able to get the kill. I'm going to give him a silence as well so I don't have to deal with his nuke. Looks like Prophet's going to come help as well, but I should be able to just, yep, we pick him up. Bounty Hunter gets the last hit, so we get another track kill. I should be using my ulti right here. Did I explain that fully? If you use your ulti, it basically pauses time, so really what it's doing is delaying the nighttime, pretty much. So there I go to use it again, I get a salve. And make sure you always tread switch when you are taking heals like that. So it'll heal a slightly higher percentage. And again, no urn. If I had the urn, things would be going a lot better in terms of ganking. I really do like the trifecta of urn, wand, and bottle on Nightstalker. I think it makes you an absolute beast in the early game. And sometimes I forgo that for either treads or face. I think it's sometimes worth it. I would for treads this game because my HP doesn't really feel high enough. And I do kind of still want to get more ganks off. I think I spotted some heroes over here. There were 2. It's probably a little aggressive. And then I see a Wisp as well. At this point, I need to get out. So I really deserved to die there. That was stupid. I mean, I'm not dead yet, but it looks like I'm going to die. I knew that I was going to die. That was a pretty big mistake. I saw 2 heroes. Visage is pretty tanky. PL's not that easy to kill, and that was pretty much their entire team, except for Windrunner, it looks like. So that was pretty stupid. I had a good advantage. I had 2 kills. I had an assist. I had not the best last hits, but not terrible. I just killed the PL. I killed the Wisp. Those are crucial heroes to get picks on, and then I kind of threw it away there by being too aggressive. If you ever see 2 heroes like that and you're by yourself, it's just really not worth going in. Like I always feel very greedy about it. I'm like, oh, I'm awesome. I just got 2 kills. I'm really strong right now. I can go for it, but it simply was not worth it. And that actually loses me some nighttime as well, which is part of the area where you're really strong. So I'm kind of looking for another gank. I could hypothetically go back to lane and farm a little bit, but generally I wanted to last it a bit more. I wonder if the Windrunner saw anything. I think he just felt he was low HP and didn't really feel safe. So I was kind of just waiting for him here. I TP'd to the top lane because I figured he would come back and then I could sprint forward and get a kill on him. But he actually happened to leave lane at the perfect time. And I don't really know where he's going after this point. But we did spend quite a bit of time. Alright, he's TPing back to lane. Alright, and then we see the Windrunner. The power shot looked like it saw me, so I just said dive mode. There's the slow. My silence was not really needed there because he had already a wind run. Put another hit on him, and I should have a kill there, and we do get it. Here comes the TPs. This is going to be a Visage, I think. I'm waiting for all the damage to end, and then I'll bottle this up. Make sure that you switch to strength treads whenever you are taking damage. You should be able to control the damage intake a little bit better like that. I popped all my bottle charges again, didn't have urn. If I had urn, I would still have bottle left over, and I would have probably an urn. I think that was a mistake. I should have gotten an urn this game. I've got the gold for it. I could pick it up. It's great utility. The only downside is it fills up your item slots really fast with wand, bottle, and urn. But again, I'm not at max HP now. If I want to continue ganking, it's a little bit limited. But at this point, their whole team is going to be really scared, basically. They have wards up, as you guys can see, so they should be able to see me right now. I'm looking for a rune, and it will be bottom. Their whole team is pretty scared, deservedly. Nightstalker is really, really scary at this point of the game. My ulti is off cooldown in 10 seconds. That's one thing that I'm bad about it when playing Nightstalker is I always forget to look at my ulti, but level 1 ulti only increases nighttime by I think about 10 seconds or something. I'm not really sure where their heroes are at this point. I know Warlock was hiding somewhere, and I did use my ulti on time, looks like. But I mean, look at their heroes. Literally 0 heroes farming right now. This is all because they're terrified of Nightstalker. The wards are really good though, to get some vision, looking for farming heroes. And we knew that none of them were farming at this point. I used one more bottle charge here just to heal up. I'm going to go scout things out. One nice thing about the illusions is they do get the same vision as you. So right now, that's pretty much functioning as a ward. I wanted to run this in first so that it would tank up damage and possibly some nukes. And we were just kind of waiting to dive here. And there we go. There's a wisp. Kind of made things obvious by not quite reacting in time, but I saw TPs and I was like, oh, that's a PL. Let's dive this. Probably should have just run there. And then it becomes daytime. That doesn't help either because it makes me really slow. Alright, so I deserve to die again. As soon as the TPs came, we should have backed. Like, we killed the wisp, back out, take it. The first TP was Warlock, and when the second TP came, it was just way too late. It was way after the point. I can't remember. I think I was considering buying an armlet right here. Did Blitz just get a kill? I don't know. But we lost 2 heroes. It was pretty dumb. As soon as the TP came from Warlock, we should have backed. The rock was going to come. I am now alive. I'm gonna go buy another TP. So just like very, very slight variations in my play would have put me so much farther ahead. I think I decided to buy a Maelstrom this game because I was like, screw it, I want to get a Maelstrom. It's kind of a fun item on Strength Heroes. It does some AoE. They have a PL, so I was like, yeah, I'll get some AoE stuff because otherwise it's going to be a little harder for me to deal with the PL. I wouldn't recommend it as a good item. I think Armlet's much better because it not only gives you damage but HP, whereas Maelstrom just gives you damage and attack speed. I think Armlet is a much stronger item than Maelstrom, but I didn't really care. I was like, yeah, I'm having an okay game. My last hits aren't fantastic, but I have been ganking kind of a lot. And it is nighttime now, or daytime, sorry. So generally you want to go farm when it's day, especially if you don't have your ulti up. I don't have my ulti anymore, so that means that I can't actually very effectively farm. I'm pretty much limited to, or I can't gank well. I'm pretty much limited to just farming now. Farming badly, apparently. Got all the last hits except for 1. I feel like the tower is still attacking a little bit slow. I'm not quite sure though. Up to 900 gold now. Again, still farming. Really good EXP in the mid lane. Unfortunately, the range creep messed that one up. I think maybe the tower did. I'm not sure. I was checking to see if I could deny that, but I couldn't, unfortunately. So this is kind of like the weird part of Nightstalker. My night was okay. If I wouldn't have been too aggressive those 2 times, my snowball would be much higher. If I also would have gotten an urn, my snowball would probably be better as well. You can do a lot more aggressive things with an urn.
You know the drill.
Couple heroes top, a lot of heroes bot. As you guys can see, they're pretty much turtling really hard. I think this is a mistake from the enemy players. When you're playing against a Nightstalker, you should very rightfully be scared of him if it's nighttime. But if it's daytime like this, you need to spread out and farm. And what they're basically doing right now is farming a maximum of 2 lanes. Whereas if you look at our heroes, we have the anti-mage farm the top lane. I'm kind of doing whatever I want to, farming mid and jungle. And we also have heroes in the bot lane trying to get some EXP and farm and stuff. I wish the Nature's Prophet was actually in the jungle. I think he's wasting his time right now. That's a hero that can easily jungle. And instead, he's basically sitting on the bot lane, kind of slowly pressuring. Now, this does exhibit some split push. If he wasn't pressuring there, maybe the supports wouldn't be covering the PL as much. But at the moment, you can tell that they're scared of me. And I'm off the map, but I don't know. It's daytime, for God's sake. It's very much daytime. I don't think Blitz is going to go for that kill. Seems a little dangerous. And there's a TP coming out from Warlock, so he's going to get out. Maybe EGM will die, I'm not sure. But I now have max levels of Hunter in the Night. No kills happen top. Another TP comes top. So now PL solo bot. They're kind of just playing really, really scared. And maybe that's because I got a couple successful ganks in and I dived a lot. So they're worried about me diving more. I'm not really sure. But I think we played these guys the previous game, by the way. I think we lost. I can't remember. Maybe we won. I think we won. But they did a lot of like really aggressive stuff where they sat mid a lot. They sat mid a lot. I used that haste room, by the way, because I wanted to make sure that I got the stack off, and I did end up using that. Now I've got a haste. I'm going to bottle this up a little bit. I'm going to try to get a kill. Again, used my fear a little bit late. I should have probably popped that first. I see the Wisp TP. And I did not want to run straight back, that's for sure. And it's okay sacrificing my ulti for the Wisp ulti. I was okay with this. As soon as I saw the TP coming, I knew that I couldn't get the kill. So I was like, okay, well, they used their ulti. I don't wanna dive this. I don't want to die again. So I backed off. And now it's daytime, and I used my ulti, so I can't really fight for the next 80 seconds. It's probably not that worth it for me to do this, to be frank, because much better for me to save it in case a team fight happens. Like, if they wanted to fight right now, they could fight, and I'd be pretty crappy. Like, Wisp without his ulti can still be a useful hero. Nightstalker without nighttime is kind of shitty. I mean, I have a nuke, which is great and all, and I can silence for a little bit, but I should really probably start silencing the Windrunner first rather than voiding first. I keep assuming that she'll be able to get away from me, but I guess if I silence her, she's slowed anyway, so I should probably just start fearing her first. Every time, I mean, it can't help. It can help, I mean. With the DD bot here, I'm just kind of waiting to pick up my Maelstrom. I really wanted to get my Maelstrom. I'm going to nuke this creep from the low ground. Always tread switch when you cast. Especially if you're not doing anything. It's a really, really good habit to get into. I tread switch pretty much every time now. Even if I'm in the middle of battle, I'll tread switch to an agility treads, press 1 to go back to strength. Just because it's a little bit extra HP and might keep you alive. It's very important. And from here, I'm hoping to be able to get some little gold here, and this should put me over the edge. I think I need 100 to get the Maelstrom. Oops, I hear Wisp TPing. Looks like it's going bot. I actually don't have a TP scroll right now, which is a mistake. I think I do have one on the courier. I remember missing that last hit. Oh, I missed 2 last hits. I was like, alright, I need literally like 2 last hits, and I'm going to have it. Oh, Windrunner gets killed by Anti-Mage. So basically now there's a lot of pressure bot. There's still 3 heroes bot, and Anti-Mage is in their racks. They're playing this so weird.
Radiant's top towers
and they can't take the tower either, because we have a freaking coddle. Like, what are you supposed to do? So Anti-Mage still pressuring top. I haven't really done a whole lot the last 10 minutes. Just farming, really. Wanted to pick up my, increase my farm rate. Because again, I can't really do a whole lot of gank. It is almost nighttime though, and I wanted to preferably hit level 11 before nighttime hit. That way I could use the ulti. The level 2 ulti does last a lot longer. 50 seconds rather than 25. So, and the cooldown's lower as well, so it's a higher percentage of nighttime. With the Maelstrom, I can actually kill creeps pretty fast now. It's pretty fun. It doesn't even cost me HP. So I'm thinking about fighting bot. So I'm going to pop the DD. That's a dead hero. Should be able to snag a kill on the Wisp, yep, with the DD. DD is good. Again, I popped the silence pretty late. Kind of wanted to kill the bats here. I think I was A-clicking the ground. It's kind of doing that really sloppy. But again, if I had an urn, I would be so back into that fight. But I'm not. I thought, God, I really should have gotten an urn. So many times this game where bottle is not going to be enough regen, simply put. I still have the DD, so I'm like thinking about going in. Hitting for 200 damage is pretty good. I think I popped my ulti really late there. Pretty sure. Still kind of looking for a Scraggler to run back, but doesn't look like I can spot any, so. Rune is not bottom. I can see it's top now, but didn't know that for a fact. Who's that took some damage? I think that was PL, actually. Is he mana drained completely?
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business.
Alright, he got out. His horses.
Trouble
At this point, I
brewing
just
at
kind of wanted to beat
Radiant's
the
bottom
tower down,
tower.
so I was going to tank it here. He just TP'd away and we knew that, so we figured there was a low chance of them actually coming for this. So we take the gold.
Radiant lost one of them bottom towers.
I really do like the Maelstrom, it's pretty fun though. Attack speed and lightning and all this crap. It's cool. I think I'm going to Armlet after this. My HP is obviously very, very low, so I'll pick up a Helm of Iron Will. Just get my regen up. It's not very good regen, only 3 per second. It's much better to have it as like a, you hold onto this and it slowly keeps your HP up rather than I need to full heal, but it'll get there eventually, I guess. I assume somebody has some kind of a heal.
Radiant's
I think somebody
bottom
might have a
tower
mech,
ain't
I'm not really
pretty
sure.
sight right now. Radiant's toughened up their
Not really sure if the
structures.
regen or that Invis rune is still top or not, but we can go see. Yep, it is still
Trouble
top.
brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
So we get an Invis, they have a ward, so they will spot this. I'm going to pop it to get a little bit of the regen in,
Radiant's
and
bottom
I might have
tower's
ran
in
back into
better
the ward a little
days.
early. I probably should have waited a second. At this point, I'm not really sure what I'm waiting for. Oh, another rune. Do I get another rune? I do, it's a double damage.
Radiant's
Now, I
bottom
kind of had
tower
2
ain't
choices
pretty
here. I
sight
either could
right
have
now.
sat there and bottled twice to break the Invis, or I can grab the DD while Invis. Because see, this way I can use both the DD and the Invis at the same time, whereas, but I would have gotten an extra, like, what, 280 HP out of it. So maybe it would have been better to do that. But if you look at all their positioning, they're still absolutely terrified of us. I mean, we have a Bounty Hunter, we have a Nightstalker, we have a Nature's Prophet. Our gank potential is really good. There's the Silence and the Dive, and here comes the DD. But I was actually quite underwhelmed with my damage output here. Did a lot less than I thought it would. But I definitely went for the kill here. And I didn't see the power shot coming, so I get power shotted. I could have bottled up after between tower hits, by the way, and that might have kept me alive, but I was not anticipating the Windrunner to nuke me, so maybe I would have lived if I had bottled up past the... I probably would have lived if I bottled up before grabbing the DD, actually. And again, probably you could make arguments to say that if I hadn't earned, I wouldn't have died there,
There
so...
goes Radiant's bottom tower.
Staying full HP is pretty important. On the bright side, they were able to take a tier 2 tower bottom, so they took a tower bot while we were busy diving mid. And again, they're once again scared of us diving, so 10-9 at the moment. Anti-Mage, keep in mind, has been free farming most of this time just because of the fact that we've been pressuring so much. If you pressure other, and that's something really important to keep in mind, is that if you pressure other lanes, that means that those supports are worried about the PL dying. If they're worried about the PL dying, then they have to sit on, and that means that they can't spend time to go gank our heroes. So Anti-Mage has pretty much been uncontested. Like, how many times have you guys seen him in the enemy's base? He's literally been inside their base so many times this game. Looks like I'm going to, again, run past a ward multiple times, so they know that I'm going to be putting some pressure on mid again. Just thinking about pressuring. It's always okay just to do like a little bit of a juke run at them like that, like run towards them, make them think that you're thinking about going on them. See the rock coming forward, so we're kind of expecting some nukes, and Wisp as well. Hustling here makes it seem like they really do want to go in. Anti-Mage is going to do some damage here. Kind of just trying to force them into a bad team fight. In the meantime, we can take some neutrals here. Maelstrom helps quite a bit for that. Lightning hammers, man, they're good. Still want to get the armlet. I'm pretty close, like 600 gold. I'll increase my damage potential a lot. Thought for sure the rock would be there. Oh, there it is. Heavily considering going in there, but all we really have to do is walk away. Still looking for pickoffs here. There's like so many heroes. Plus the Infernal. It's just like... I continue to nuke on the Wisp just because... I was thinking about fighting him here, but... You have to be very, very choicey with when you decide to man up.
The Dire couldn't hang on to that.
No, it was definitely not quite ready. Looks like somebody is TPing. Still kind of dancing here. If I can make him run in circles, that's actually a good thing, honestly. It's going to save the invis and I think do some harass at this point. But even still, taking these nukes is pretty rough. There's a lot of heroes around. Nature's Prophet and Wisp were able to kill the Wisp though as he came back, so You might think like that I should have done more there, but honestly, like they had so many heroes and they have a lot of damage, and my advantage is good, but it's not like ridiculously huge. You could probably make arguments for saying my Maelstrom's ineffective as well, but I think Anti-Mage is dying at this point. He does have a Vlad's actually, so his armor is pretty good. I decided, okay, I'll come help you. Oh, I didn't into this. I was like, why am I running into this?
Radiant's top rags is running out of time.
Take this, Windrunner. Should be using my ulti.
Arrow lies broken.
It's good force staff use,
Radiant's
but
top rags ain't gonna last long.
kind of want to jump on this this Visage here. Thought that was maybe the real one because it had full HP, but I was wrong.
The Radiant's top rags didn't make it.
Where's my armlet? Get my armlet. Get my armlet. Yes, I sent it back. Alright, armlet on the way. So we kill the Windrunner at least. Windrunner's a pretty decent hero for Nightstalker to kill. There's better squishy heroes like heroes that rely just on casting offensively are really, really good food, like Lion or something like that. Just coming in here to pick up my armlet. I think we wanted to rush on at this point. I should have used my ulti a while ago, but I think I forgot to. Looks like. Do we have a Vlad's? No, there's gonna be no Vlad's. Anti-Mage still split pushing, by the way, which forces them to defend the top. He did get a range barracks at some point, so. Give me the lightning. I don't know why the bounty hunter took the DD. That was a mistake from him. I think I was taking Aegis. Yeah, I take Aegis. If you guys don't want to go DPS build on Nightstalker, some alternatives. You can get a BKB, which makes you magic immune for 10 seconds. That's really good. As you guys saw, oftentimes I would be in the middle of the team fights and I would want to attack and dive and stuff, but it's really scary if they can disable you. If I had a BKB, I probably could have gone more aggressive in some of those other team fights. Very easily I could have given it a shot. But I didn't. I got a Maelstrom instead, which is better for farming and damage and all this other stuff. So I just kind of wanted to dick around and go for these like mid-game damage items so that I could do some carry potential for fun. It's a little bit more fun a way to play Nightstalker. Now, Aghanims is fantastic, though. If you guys don't know what the Aghanims does, you already have really good night vision as Nightstalker. If you get an Aghanim Scepter, this gives you unobstructed, which means you basically are like a bird flying over. So you can see over cliffs, things like that. It's really good with the gem, too. Makes the hero really, really fun to play. Because you can, basically, it's really hard for people to hide from you. And while we're still pressuring here, look what Anti-Mage is doing. Blitz is just killing people solo. So, again, by taking all this pressure off of them, we're kind of just forcing them into a split push. He just hasn't left the top lane. He just sits top. He doesn't have to fight with us. He just has to make good decisions on his lane solo. And then we can go around and take towers like this for free. Taking some damage here.
So long to the Radiant.
Kind of wanted to go aggressive. And there's a rock, and we will again walk away from this one. I was like thinking about fighting this. I mean, I could make it nighttime, but it's pretty dead in the middle of day, so I don't want to waste my ulti if possible. Should kill those bats. That's what I should do. It's really hard to click on them, actually. If you A-click the ground, you don't actually get to fight them. I noticed. So I'll pop the last bottle charges that I have and maybe hop back in. Anti-Mage is in the middle of the fight anyway, so I could engage. It's like, give me food. Yes. Get all the bats. His pummeled fist things are really good though. It's like insane. That's right. I turned off my armlet and the creep killed me. That was funny. I didn't even have to make it nighttime. I was like, you know what? It's just daytime this one. Damage is pretty good for a Nightstalker though. It usually hit a lot less hard than this, honestly. I don't know if I even got lightning on a lot of those guys, but... Oh man, they went to our fountain. Oh, that's why he was there. We looked later and we're like, hey, there's guys on our base, but we didn't know why. That was why. So yeah, this is like a fairly typical Nightstalker game. I made a lot of mistakes getting killed and stuff like that. Buy Urn, please God, buy Urn. Like, just watching this game, I thought I could like shave it off and it would be okay, but the HP it gives you, like, more than anything else, you need Bottle for mana and you need Urn for HP, because every time you get a kill, you have to be aggressive and dive and take nukes. And like a full bottle is not even enough to regain the HP that you normally take. You literally need the possible sometimes 800 damage that you take from it, honestly. So make sure that you get an urn. I think urn 1 and bottle are all pretty good. You should buy those probably before you pick up your boots. I really wanted to go like DPS in here. This is how I die. I got diffusal bladed there. I have 4,000 gold though, which is pretty cool. Well, that's a refresher. That's a refresher bounty hunter. What? I've never seen that before. And I'm gonna buy my items. At this point I wanted to get a Reaver, I think. Oh, I didn't want them to end the game, because I wanted to get back and fight more. But then they all died and defended, I think. Can't remember. Did they? Did I buy back? Yes, I did. At this point I kind of felt like I still needed more HP regen as a result of not having the urns, so I wanted to pick up the Reaver, and there it is. So I would have gone Heart next. Probably Heart, Armlet, Maelstrom. Would have been really, really tanky, really hard to kill. Just kind of like a way to shift my item build at that point. BKB would also work, but since we were so far ahead, just getting HP instead was enough. So Heart at that point would have been the right choice, I think. Either way, a couple mistakes that I made. Diving the tower after we got that Wisp kill was a big mistake, and going aggressive on like 3 heroes was just simply not worth it. If I would have shaved off those 2 deaths and gotten an urn instead, you guys would have seen me gone like obscenely godlike this game, because I did get pretty good early game. I didn't get that many last hits this game, but I mean, that's kind of what Nightstalker does. You get some last hits, and then you do have to do a lot of ganking and put pressure on your opponents. And because of that, if you look at Blitz's kills and gold per minute, he's at 817 gold per minute without having a Hand of Midas, and that's largely as a result of all of the heroes constantly hiding bottom, trying to defend the PL so PL could farm. I don't think they did it properly, but largely after we took the early advantage, they kind of lost the game by the 15-minute mark, because we split pushed them so hard, they never got towers. We kept putting pressure on them, we had good aggressive wards, and all of those things kind of came together to make a really nice piece of anti-mage able to get a crap load of last hits, split push, and we could kind of just dominate them from there on out. So that all worked out fantastic. Thanks everybody for watching. That is a Nightstalker game. I know I haven't uploaded a Nightstalker game in like a year, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.